got a slight problem with my table saw, and this table saw is a Delta 10-inch table saw, and it's been pretty good so far. I haven't had any problems with it. I've had it for about 2 years, and I got it used. I bought it on Craigslist. But I also haven't done any preventative maintenance to speak of with it, other than changing the blades and things like that. So I did a Google search and found a manual for this saw and looked into some of the troubleshooting, and I think I found the answer. When I would go to make a cut, everything would be fine until I got an inch or two into the cut, and then the blade would stop, but the motor was still running. So it wasn't one of those situations where you overload your saw and the blade stops and the motor stops. Motor's still running, blade's not spinning. So that's the symptom. So I'm going to get into this saw and take a look at it. And for this model, the first thing I have to do, besides raising the blade to its maximum height and turning it to 45 degrees, is to turn this table upside down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. One thing I did before I started, I used some duct tape and taped the cord. I wrapped it around and taped it over here so it would be out of the way and I wouldn't be tripping on it and laying the saw down on it. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and vacuum up all this stuff. Now I'm going to take off this piece, which is the motor housing cover, and there are 4 screws in there. There's some places where the belt doesn't have enough tread to grip those gears. If I spin it like that, you can see this part doesn't spin. The good news is it's a pretty simple problem to correct. I'm not really a guy who has done a lot of taking apart things like this and replacing parts, but this was pretty easy. Did a Google search, troubleshooting, looked through the manual. Actually, I think it was a forum that someone was describing the same problem that I have with the saw, and someone chimed in and gave me the answer that it was probably the belt. If you're like me, sometimes you're looking for an excuse to go out and buy a new table saw, but the ones that I wanted, of course, were $2,500. It's going to be a lot cheaper to replace this belt. And while I'm at it, the other maintenance item that it recommended that you replace fairly often is the brushes. There are 2 brushes with this, so I'm going to go ahead and replace those 2. The parts, I ordered them, but they're not going to ship for, it said 4 to 6 weeks. So this table saw is going to be down for a while. When I get the belt and the brushes, I'll reinstall them, and I'm sure it'll be as good as new. There's a few places on it where it has better tread than others, but there's some places where it's definitely very worn. So that was the problem. And I'm not going to take the old brushes out today. I'm going to go ahead and wait until the new brushes arrive. That way I can take the old one out and put the new one in and still remember exactly how it went in. I'm afraid that if I take them out now, I won't remember exactly how they went in 4 to 6 weeks when the new ones come. So as a precaution, I'm going to leave those in for now. Oh my God, that's the end?
I know, right? It was just about to get good.
That's the end of the video?
Just about.
What are we going to do?
Well, they could subscribe.
That's a good idea, Jimmy. Folks, if you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe. And also
Yeah,
like
we get a kick out
and
of
comment.
it.
We do.
Thanks, folks.